That's okay. That's all right, Red. And we'll be reading out of uh, another translation. Of course, we have our King James as well. But for a clearer understanding, I would like to share the following. And we're still in Proverbs, and we're still dealing with family, friends, fidelity. Long-running series. Proverbs 4, and we'll start in verse 20, and it says, give an ear. My son, pay attention to what I am saying. Incline your ear to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them deep in your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to their whole being. Let me read that again. My son, pay attention to what I am saying. Incline your ear to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them deep in your heart. For they are life to those who find them. For they are life to those who find them. And health to their whole being. Health to their whole being. Life to those who find them, which presupposes that perhaps something is hidden. It's not always in plain sight where you can see it. His instructions for how to live. We know that Proverbs, many scholars attribute this to Solomon. He says, don't let them out of your sight. Keep them deep in your heart. And it's not just talking about the muscle that filters blood through our bodies. It's also talking about your brain. Your brain. And in Christendom, a lot of times when they are talking about your heart, you know, they do incorporate the heart, but they're also incorporating the seat of your intelligence. And your mind is a gift from the Most High, and He equipped us with everything that we would need. If you got it from Him. And our biggest challenge, or one of the bigger challenges in life, is knowing how to properly use all the things that He's given us to live life. He has given us everything we need pertaining to life and godliness. (23) Above everything else, guard your heart. Let me say that again. Above everything else, guard your heart, for it is the source of life's consequences. See, he's saying, guard your heart. Now, again, most of us, particularly in America, when somebody say guard your heart, we immediately think about your feelings and I like you and you like me and let's get together and have a life together. That's the way most of us interpret that. But again, I bring you back to earlier. When you see heart, it's also talking about the seat of your intelligence, where you understand things. You know, guard your mind also. Guard where you get your instructions. You know, look past, particularly in what we call Christendom. Listen, we've got to learn to look past what people are saying. I'm not saying don't listen to what they're saying. But in your listening and in your hearing, their lifestyle and their choices ought to match up with what they're teaching or preaching or saying. And I had the privilege a few weeks ago of saying that this situation, I mean, some still call it a hoax, some call it a scamdemic, some call it a plandemic. Well, whatever you call it, people are still dying. And again, this isn't just affecting America. This is affecting all creation. And instead of us waiting on a word for who's going to reside at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, we need to be waiting on a word or seeking his face about what are we to do with this thing. Lives are leaving steadily, and we're concerned with who's going to be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I'm not saying, you know, if you voted, fine. If you didn't, that's fine too. But, you know, we have to wake up. Tough days are ahead for all creation, which includes America and Israel too. A leading scientist was assassinated a day or so ago, an Iranian scientist, and you know, it's on the news, and they're saying that he had a lot to do with the Iran's nuclear weapon development. Of course, they're saying this was, from their perspective, they see this as, you know, basically an act of war. Well, you know, things are, again, going to start heating up. And we're still dealing with this health issue worldwide. But again, America is trying to interject itself in possibly something that maybe they ought to stay on the sidelines. I don't know for sure. But I know that a lot of well-meaning people, be they a missionary or whatever, in their way, they're trying to bring what they have read in the Older Testament and the Newer Testament, which we call the Brit Hadashah. They're trying to bring that to pass. But you've heard me say in times past, sometimes some of us are sitting in a seat that was reserved for somebody else. Some of us are occupying space that was for someone else, but we put ourselves there, and instead of being part of the solution, we are becoming part of the problem. I'm not saying that about America. I'm just saying everybody that's studying some will, and we say this a lot, some will stay in their lane. Others will stay in their lane and drive over in your lane. And that's a very dangerous thing to do. And now more than ever, if you're going to ask for anything from the Almighty, ask for wisdom, how you're to conduct yourself, because people are leaving here left and right. And again, you know, we're getting direction and instructions from people that often aren't qualified to give it. You know, again, I'm not going to go to my auto mechanic and ask for a haircut. That's not his expertise. And I'm not going to go to my barber and ask him to fix my car. I'm not going to ask the mayor of Petersburg about a health matter. I'm gonna pursue somebody that's been in the medical profession. Now, in America, you're free to listen to whoever you want. And in America, we know our rights. If we don't know anything else, we know I ain't got to do nothing that I don't want to do. But I will say to those that have that attitude, it is against the law in America to commit suicide. Now, if you do that and you're found out, they may not lock you up, but they will put you away. And right now, you don't want to be in a hospital, a nursing home, or any of those things because this thing, whatever it is, a hoax, a pandemic, a plandemic, a scamdemic, whatever you want to call it, is still taking lives. Above everything else, guard your heart, for in it is the source of life's consequences. Listen to this. Keep crooked speech out of your mouth. Banish deceit from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze on what lies in front of you. Level the path for your feet. Let all your ways be properly prepared. Then deviate neither right nor left. Now that sounds like to me he's not into politics. But the people of faith in this country, we've tried to put him in politics. And keep your foot far from evil. And that word evil, you know, in the Tanakh, or if you want to call it the Old Testament, you know, when the Most High was talking about himself, he says basically, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know whether it was correctly translated or not, but the gist of it was, hey, I make good, I make evil. I wound, I heal. I kill, I make alive. I'm God. And basically he said, and besides me, there is no other. Now, that's how it was translated. The last time I had the privilege of coming before you, I said, you know, what might help us during this time, get back and read the book of Job. Because, see, many of us feel like we're not going through a tenth of what Job went through. I hope none of you are going through what he went through. I mean, but we're having a tough time. We really are. But I said, you know, go back and visit Job. And all of that's tied into what we call evil. And I also mentioned, you know, a lot, particularly in Christendom, we talk about angels and we talk about demons and things of that nature. Revisit that as well. And again, hold your rocks. I'm not here to start anything new. And the last thing, we don't need another, we don't need to add to the confusion. All I'm saying is, perhaps a better term, see, the Most High, everything you see and everything that's about to come into what we call reality, the Almighty created it. There is nothing in what we call existence that He didn't make. Everything is subject to Him. Everything and everybody, every animal, every plant, even the atmosphere, everything is subject to Him. And so again, why did I suggest Job? Because Job, the book of Job, it answers a lot of questions that non-believers are always asking us. They're saying, well, if God is so good, why do bad things happen to good people? The book of Job addressed that. And so if you remember, I said when this thing first jumped off, I said, it appears to me, and it still appears to me, that He put everybody in time out. The saints, the people that we call heathens, which we might want to change that too. Because again, in Christianity, they believe that there are two kinds of people in the world. Basically, believers and non-believers. That's the only two kinds of people they think there is. And you might want to reread that too. But getting back to angels and demons and things of that nature, those beings that were created, they're messengers. That's a better translation. Messengers. They are messengers. And guess what? That includes the devil. Hold your rocks. Just do some research. Reread the stuff that we have just gone over time and time again. We've had it preached. We've had it taught. Reread it, saints. Our lives depend on it. If we're to come out of this thing, we got to find out who we should be listening to, whose instructions we should be following. This is a crucial time. Listen, your life is more important than who you like to teach and who you like to hear preach. Your life is a whole lot more valuable than just that. Because I said to you in times past that this thing has given every one of us an opportunity to show who we really are, but it has also given us all an opportunity to show who we are not. Every one of us. Every one of us. People are concerned. People are worried. Some people are downright scared. And I'll be honest myself. I'm kind of worried because, it's like we just. I don't know. I don't think it's that we don't care, but we're. And I understand none of us really know what to do. But what I would advise you to do, and again, I'm not prophesying or any of that. I'm not saying that. What I would encourage you to do is get back to His instructions and start following them more closely. Don't come out of the religion of it and begin to read it and absorb it and internalize it as if he wrote this exactly to you, nobody else. He wrote this to you. Now, you and I know he had more than you and he had more than me in mind when he wrote it. But because everybody's life is on the line, I think it's imperative that we be polite to those that got a message. But I would rather go back to the one that made me and say, what say you? I don't know what to do in this thing. I mean, because what I've been doing, it obviously didn't please you. Or what I've been doing, I'm concerned because the praise and the prayers and the fasting and all the things that I've been doing, I'm still in timeout too. Now I wonder how many other, and I bet a whole lot of other saints, in your quiet moments, and I'm talking about just you, not your spouse, not your family, when it's just you and him, and you don't have to say anything, you just look straight ahead. And I'm not talking about anybody here, I'm just sharing from my heart. Because I want to know, and I know that I don't follow instructions to the letter. But, we rail against the heathen or those that we think are without him, but we all got the same sentence. And I know, in Christianity, we've been taught that the good got to suffer for the guilty. Well, again, to that I would respond, I would say, brother or sister, that I know you think you really said something, but he said again, I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. He said, I, not the devil. He said, I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. And then he told us, he gave us that, he said, choose life. Choose life. He also talked about it, even in Genesis, he talked about 120 years. I think about all the people that are gone now. How many of them were 120 years? Is the Most High a liar? I don't think so. So are we saying that his teachings and instructions, they don't work today? I don't think so. I don't think that's what we're saying. But who are we listening to? And why are we listening? And what else has to happen before it begins to make us question, hey, what part do I have in this? Where have I fumbled the ball? Most of us, we on the bench, we on the team, and we're saying, put me in, coach. And he's saying, oh, hey, the whole team, come on. All y'all, sit on the bench. And I'm paraphrasing with this thing, but again, hey, we talk bad about America. Many of us have cursed America. Some of us have damned America. And I said, hey, I'm not saying that America's done everything right. No, they haven't. They've done a lot I mean, the history is horrific. But I like to point out to, again, particularly those that say they follow Torah. I said, well, again, in Torah it says that he spread them to the four corners. Well, America's just one corner. There are three other corners. And so, again, I confess to you that I'm a crybaby. I complain a lot. I feel sorry for myself a lot. I do. But I have learned to stop complaining and whining to other people that can't do anything about my situation. Now, that doesn't make me any deeper or more. No, I'm trying to be transparent. I'm trying to be honest with you. And I'm here to tell you, I don't have all the answers. But we serve the one that does. So instead of going to each other, why not go to him? And that's why I keep telling you, get back in Job. Because Job was considered a righteous man. That's what the Most High said about him. And we call him the devil. I call him the prosecutor. The prosecutor said, why won't he? I guess he do. Love you. You done hooked him up. You have hooked him up. But I tell you what, take his stuff away and see, don't he say some bad stuff to you or say some bad stuff about you. And again, it's kind of hard for me. Again, now, this is one crybaby to another. It's kind of hard for me to sit there, and I shared with you, I was invited to a friend's house, and they deep in Torah. But man, there was more complaining in there, and I mean, we were in a nice neighborhood, and I'm like, and then after a while, sometimes you catch yourself. You riding home in your fancy car, oh Lord, I'm having such a hard time. Pulling in your nice neighborhood, you got about 2, 3, 4 vehicles. And we're complaining, oh, I'm having such a hard time. Things have gotten so bad now, I can't afford the Prada shoes no more. I gotta go now is Payless still open? Now I gotta go to Payless. I mean, but this is how believers are whining in America. Now, I don't know about the other three corners, but can you imagine what if some of the others that were spewed out got sent over in maybe a communist corner or even a socialist corner? They would look at us and say, what are y'all crying about? You see, it's all in your perspectives. And again, listen, your suffering is your suffering. I get you. Like the young kids say, I feel you in that. Because I'm not standing up here like, I don't cry and whine. I told you, I'm a whiner. And I didn't, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. And that's what I told the people, because I let everybody say what they had to say, because I said, hey, man, if we can't talk among ourselves and be honest, And so, again, even in that discussion, it wasn't like, listen, what I got to say don't make it so. But I said, hey, come on. Let's listen at ourselves. Now, I'll be honest. I kind of got the thing started. I kind of primed the pump with the complaining. So, yes, I did. I kind of set them up. But it was in us anyway. Borrow another phrase we like to say, and iniquity was found in him. Remember that? And then most of us have been taught that in writings there was this great big revolt. All I will say is do some more research, people. Do some more research. And no, I'm not saying that your suffering is minimal. I'm not saying that. I wouldn't dare say that because I don't know what affects you. I don't know, and it's not my place. Your suffering is your suffering. Mine is mine. And I'm not making light of that. And again, excuse me, I'm not, listen. We as a people have had a very difficult time in this country. I wouldn't dare make light of that. But my generation and those that have come, we didn't catch it like those before. They really got, how many of us had, dogs or whatever, and we didn't have all of that. Now, yes, they did some stuff. Some of you were up for a promotion or whatever, and they gave it to somebody else. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that stuff still exists. Yes, so it's different kind of obstacles, but back in the day, man, it was costing folks their lives. They didn't get the opportunity to go to a HBCU. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have that. And we we tend to think that we got it harder than anybody else. And I'm saying, no, we don't. And I've said before, I don't know if any of you remember, I said there are a lot of other places he could have sent us rather than here. Now, I'm sure the people that had to deal with, because it was real ugly when we first got here. It was ugly. But we, the descendants of them, we had it bad, but we didn't have it as bad as they did. Well, what does all this have to do with wisdom? I'm just saying this because let's learn to look at things for what they are. And when we run up into a situation and we don't know what to do, go back to his instructions. Go back to his instructions. You can go to Proverbs. We're still in 4. It says, again, in 23, above everything else, guard your heart, for it is the source of life's consequences. We've been taught erroneously, don't get ahead of God. Don't, wait on the Lord. Wait on, and it's made us lazy. It's made, we think, listen, even when they were on their way to the promised land, let's look at this situation. Now, he got them out of Egypt. Now, let's be fair. In Egypt, they were getting 3 squares a day, and they had a place to lay their head, and they were given enough food and water to keep them what? Working. Okay? But the Most High said, listen, I'm gonna get you out of that situation. And again, I'm not making light of them people. That probably won't no fun at all. Can you imagine? Again, capitalism. Now, some people will say communism and socialism is of the devil. And politically, they've started hitting each other over the head with this thing. Y'all socialists, y'all this, y'all that. What this pandemic or hoax or scamdemic or whatever you want to call it has shown, capitalism in and of itself don't work. Socialism in and of itself don't work, and communism in and of itself don't work. Now, maybe a combination of the three, I don't know. I'm just, as we would say in sports, I'm just spitballing. And see, the same concerns are being dealt with everywhere. Again, not just in America. Not just in America. But if we return back to the instructions that were given, we might stand a chance of, hey, here's a solution. Here's what we need to do. And now, okay, in this country, the big thing now is another shutdown coming. And anybody that's in business, and particularly the small businesses, they have been decimated. They have been decimated. And in a capitalistic society, and I'm all for capitalism because that, of the three, that seems to give me the best chance to make some money. I just was honest with you. I'm not going to say, I was in prayer, and from on, none of that. None of that. I'm not saying I don't pray. What I'm saying is capitalism gives me the best chance to provide for myself and my family and my loved ones. But that in and of itself, that type of government has drawbacks. Every one of those systems, every one of those types of government have pros and cons. That's if you're going to look at this objectively. And I know you didn't come here for a government explanation, but folks, these are factors that we need to incorporate in our thinking as a nation, along with his teachings and instructions being at the forefront. So it's going to have to be up to some of these believers to get their head out of one set of notes and get back to Torah. Because see, when your neighbors see you living a certain kind of way, it may pique their curiosity, because everybody knows everybody's a little concerned right now. And everybody's looking for, man, where are the answers? What should we be doing? And again, in a capitalistic society, you got to spend money. Money is what makes this system work. And see, unfortunately, a lot of the manufacturing, we ship that overseas. And I'm just saying this because when it comes to technology, China can copy some of everything. And I'm not, I'm not getting political. I'm just speaking for the landscape in creation, what's going on. These are the actors that are in the play. We got Russia, we got China, we got Iran, we got Israel, we got Pick one, name one. And all of these people are part of creation. When I was getting ready this morning, they had two gentlemen on, and they were talking about this same thing for Australia. And they got the same challenges that the United States have. Do we pay back the deficit? Because, see, some of your leaders think, man, we can just keep getting money, but see, the more money that's pumped into the economy, we lessen the value of the dollar. And right now, the dollar is the world currency. Right now. But China wants it to be, they want the yuan to be. It's a lot of moving parts, people, and now more than ever, we got to find out. Hey, Father, what do I do? You know, I hope that another stimulus comes soon, because a lot of people need it. And I tell you, at the end of this year, those that signed forbearances, those that are presently renting, you know, if you sign a forbearance, I pray you had the wisdom to tell your mortgage company, put this at the end. At the end of my term, not at the end of the pandemic, period. Because, see, what's going to happen for those, if you didn't read all the way through and you just trusted somebody, said, Greg, we're going to take care of you. You and Vern, y'all just sign these papers here. No, I hope you read something that, you know, because, see, a lot of people are finding out, oh, my goodness, you mean when this thing is over, I got to come up with 6 or 8 months? Yes, that's what you got to do. And the people that, you know, they pass laws in different states, hey, you can't put people out. And so, you know, we say, well, that's good. And yeah, I understand you saying it, but let me tell you something. That's socialism. That's socialism. Social Security, that's socialism. Unemployment insurance, that's a type of socialism. But people need help. People need help. I said years ago, I said, you know, hey, and I didn't know. I didn't know it was coming down the pike like this. But when we used to be praying over here, I said there was going to be a financial shift. That was, what, 20 years ago? I said there's going to be a financial shift. I didn't know. That's what just kept coming up, as we would say in church. That's what kept coming up in my spirit. You know, but I said, and again, I'm Joe Blow. I'm Joe Green and Ruby Green's son. That's all I am. Okay, so I'm not some, you know, man, I'm just trying to do the best I can. And I don't want to tell somebody something wrong. I don't want your blood on my hands, but I don't want my blood on yours either. See? And we can get through this. He will lift this thing if we get in line. Because right now, like I said, you know, we've been beating up America, you know, and I'm like, well, And you know, it's not like I'm being a tattletale. Well, God, you know, they did wrong too. He already know that. He knows that. That's why everybody got put in time out. Maybe the fragrances we've been sending up on Sabbath and all the other days, maybe he just got tired of hearing. He said, man, y'all sound flat. And we've been thinking, we done had some programs and we done had some speakers, talking heads, and everything. We thinking we doing something. And all of a sudden, just one day, he said, you know, enough of that. Everybody sit down, be quiet. And that's when I started saying, well, wait a minute, hold it. Where all the smart boys now? I told you, this thing has exposed all of us. We either real or we are fraud. Now, the good thing is, if you're a fraud, you can get it right. For now. But maybe not the way we've been taught. I'm suggesting to you, get back to Torah. Get back to his instructions and find out what he's saying, because in them are the issues of life. You know, when he told, yeah, that's another thing. Everybody know the story about Adam and Eve and all of that. And when he said to Eve, the way it was written, again, I'm only reporting the way it was written and the way I understood it, was when he addressed the serpent, they were present. When he addressed the serpent, Adam and Eve were present. And a lot of us, we probably think we can tell this story almost verbatim. But he said to her, well, he said, because you've done this thing, you know, you're going to be crawling on your belly, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But then he said to her, no, he said to the serpent that the seed of the woman, yeah. But that word seed, the word seed, we think, the way we've been taught, we think is singular. The Hebraic term, I believe, is sephar. See, because if you look that word up in Hebrew, just like he told Abraham, his seed, he told Hagar, her seed. He wasn't talking about one person. He was talking progeny. I mean, how many of you can see a snake today and you're going to do one or two things? You're going to either try to cut his head off or you're going to run. There's friction today between mankind and the snake. We need to reread our material, folks. And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be on tape. So I would suggest to you, maybe if you can, start fresh. I'm not saying throw your books out, because I'm not throwing mine out. I done paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But with people's lives on the line, man, we got to find out who we should be listening to. We need to find out what instructions we should be following. And the stuff that we think we know, reread that. Reread that. Let me go a little further. 5 Proverbs. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so that you will preserve discretion, and your lips keep watch over knowledge. Now, I'm not reading out of the King James, because we haven't gotten this translation that I'm reading out of speaks to you today where you can understand it and implement it. See, we've been given instructions, but it wasn't clearly disseminated or clearly given to us. In fact, a lot of us, we've learned how to recite it, but we don't really know what it means. So how can you accurately do what you don't understand? And where you told, just have faith. No. He's answered, I'm not against faith. Please hold your rocks. But if you've been given instruction, I would say go back to the instructions. When we don't know what to do, go back to the instructions. And if we've become too sedentary in our faith and we're used to, well, I'm going to do whatever my pastor do. Let me tell you, this day and age, go back to the instructions that were given. Because not everybody makes wise decisions. All day, every day. Even in sports, some days you just ain't on your game. But if we reread the instructions, we'll realize, hey, maybe I need to put a little time in something else and let this stuff go, because really, and that's what it made me think when this thing hit. I was like, well, Father, are you telling me all of what I was doing was sending up off notes? Because I thought I was doing pretty good. I can remember I did this and that, and oh yeah, and this person, and and you start listing in your mind things that you done that was, oh, surely he'll be pleased with this. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Did it get that deep for you? I'm just again, I'm spitballing here. Because, again, for the righteous, those of us, we're the righteousness of God. I'm like, well, hey, we're in timeout too. That's just like you in school and the kid that been throwing spitballs all day in class, and you was doing your homework and teacher called on you and you were answering questions, and then when the bell rang, she said, every last one of y'all just stay in your seats. I'm keeping you after school. Now, if you threw spitballs, you know why you being told to stay. But if you did everything the teacher said, you would be puzzled. And so I'm imagining that's probably how some of the believers probably be feeling. Well, wait a minute, hold that. You mean I got to go in with them? He said, yeah. All creation, sit down, shut up, you stink. He don't say that. That's my paraphrasing of it. And when I say you stink, I'm including me too. I told you I'm not one of them you preachers. I'm not a preacher. This thing is serious, folks. It's serious. And I tell you, and you men that's got families, let me tell you. You be the final say in your situation. Say that again. You be the final say in the household that he put you over. Because, see, unfortunately, what most of us have done as believers, we've shown people what not to do. And again, I don't have all the answers, but I do have enough sense to tell you, go back to the one that made you and ask him, what is it you want from me? And he answered all of that. And I know I'm running out. But remember, I was talking about as they were coming out of Egypt, by day they were under a cloud. So he provided shade for them. At night, pillar of fire so they could see. But keep moving, keep moving. And we start complaining. When they got hungry, he fed them. When they got thirsty, he gave them drink. But here's where a lot of us are. When they got to where the land that he wanted to give them, or that, well, yeah, and that's part of this translation thing. When they got to the land that they had to possess, read it. See, because they had a part to play. He didn't say, well, now sit here and pray and fast till I just miraculously give you the land. Oh, no. He said, you got to go possess it. That's where the issue. See, as long as he was doing everything, we were still complaining. And saints, is that kind of how we are even today? Particularly those of us that are here in America, driving back and forth in our nice cars, going to our palatial estates. And again, I'm not, hey, it's been rough. Yes. We've all had disappointments. Yes, we have. And, my heart go out. Some of us have lost loved ones. And still we want to quibble over whether it's real or a hoax or whether man is behind this. No, hey, again, I just told you, everything that's in what we call reality and the things that ain't got here yet, he made them. He made them. And don't nothing that he created decide, I'm going to do what I'm going to do but man. And that's because he gave us a will. But he gave us instructions. He even said, hey, I'm going to set some roadblocks in there. I'm going to set some smooth places in there. Here's the instructions how to navigate your way through life. Do this, don't do that. And whatever you choose to live. And if you watch what you eat, I'm paraphrasing that, if you watch what you eat and by good, get a little exercise, you can get $120. You can get 120 years. But that's 120 years following his teachings and instructions. Not taking lead by what some, be they a politician or a mayor or a governor or whatever. They didn't create you. They didn't make you. He made us. My son, pay attention to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, so that you will preserve discretion and your lips keep watch over knowledge. And I'm going to end with this because I see the thing running down. And I know, in a lot of houses of worship, we love to live in the what we call in the spiritual realm. And I would imagine that's okay, but this is in Proverbs 2. And for those that have cursed America, those that have damned America, those that have made snide comments, Proverbs 18:6. It says, a fool's words get him, and I put /her, into fights. Yes, his mouth calls out for a beating. So we don't need to be arguing with folk. We don't need to be arguing with them. If they want to continue in their ignorance, they will have to deal with the consequences. But what you have to do is guard your health. When somebody's doing something that's unwise, most of them, if they're over 13, they know doggone well what they're doing, and they know doggone well what they're not doing. I was in a store. I'm going to close for real. I was in a store looking for some more work clothes, and all in the store they were making public service announcements about wearing a mask and everything. And this gentleman was in there, and I was over there looking for some more work clothes. He came on my road, so I moved down to the other road. I didn't look at him or nothing. I just went the other way. He comes where I'm at. So I go back around to the other place. He comes back where I'm at. So I left because, no, I didn't leave the store because I came in there for what I was coming for, and I was going to get that. I went to the shoe department because I wanted to get some more work boots. And thank you, Greg, for those that you gave me. They're really good. Red Wing, but I ain't making a commercial for them. And I said to the father, I said, now look, I said, if he come over here in the shoe, I'm going to hit him. Now, I know that's not the right thing to do. I know that's not the church thing to do. But I was going to knock him out. Why? Barry, why would you do that? I will do that because he's trying to put my life on the line. He don't get to do that. I'm not going to allow somebody else to use their evil inclination against me. Not knowingly, I'm not going to do it. I'm not telling you to follow that. No, he didn't have a mask on. No, he didn't. And usually, a store attendant will ask him to leave. But, some of them didn't. But he didn't come over to the shoe department, and the shoe department was way over, because I was like, what is this? Because I've told you all before, don't get in an argument with people. Because some people are doing that, they're looking for trouble. And so, I'm trying to move away from this cat. But I in all seriousness, protect yourself. Maybe you don't want to try for 120. That's all right. But you don't need to leave now. You can purpose it in your heart that when this thing is over, I'm still going to be here. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I do believe he wants you here. God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. Thank you.